Hello friends, welcome to Power Book Summaries. If life tries to break you at every turn, if every morning you have to fight your own weaknesses, if the world keeps reminding you that you are not good enough, will you give up? Or will you build yourself into someone who can never be broken? This is the story of David Goggins, a man who transformed the pain and hatred within him into an unbeatable strength. If you like this book summary, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment below. What's the biggest battle you've ever fought in your life? Now let's begin this inspiring journey. Imagine a child who cries himself to sleep every night because of his father's beatings. Who goes to school only to face racism and insults. A child who has no safety, no support, and no hope. This was David Goggins' childhood. The same boy who is now known as one of the toughest men in the world. He was full of pain. But one day, that pain became his greatest weapon. He learned that no matter how bad the situation is, no one can defeat you until you give up on yourself. As a child, he was afraid of studies. Books felt like mountains to him. He struggled with speaking and had difficulty writing. But he told himself, "I won't give up." He locked himself in a room and studied for hours. He told his mind, "I'm not dumb, I'm just not ready yet. But I can be." Slowly he passed school. But that was just a small victory. His real dream? To do something that the world called impossible. He wanted to become a Navy SEAL, but he weighed over 135 kilograms. His body was exhausted and his mind was broken. But his determination was alive. Every day, he pushed himself, running for hours, sweating, controlling his diet, and looking in the mirror saying, "I can do this." The first time he started training, he failed. His body gave up. The second time, luck didn't support him. But the third time, he refused to quit. He conquered both his body and mind. Navy SEAL training is considered the toughest in the world. Most people quit in the first week. But he didn't stop. He survived Hell Week, where you're not allowed to sleep, where your body is constantly breaking, and where every breath feels like death. But he defeated fear with a smile. He says, "When we think we can't go any further, we still have 60% of strength left inside us. But we don't use it because our mind stops us. We've become addicted to comfort." So he trained his mind like a warrior. He made it used to pain. He gave himself pain daily, so that when real pain comes, he could face it with a smile. He followed the principle of the accountability mirror. Every day, he'd look in the mirror and ask, "What will you do today?" He stopped lying to himself and accepted the truth. In this journey, more than his body, he broke his mind. Because the real battle was inside, where no one can see. He ran 100-mile races, took on challenges that an average person couldn't even imagine. He turned his body into a weapon and his mind into a fortress. The first part of this story teaches us, don't run from pain. Don't fear discomfort. If someone tries to break you, don't fight them. Become so strong that they break before they break you. When a person falls again and again and still stands up, they develop something special. David did just that. He turned every failure into a step, every pain into fuel, every criticism into a weapon. Even after becoming a Navy SEAL, his battle didn't end. It had just begun. He decided to run ultra-marathons. One day, without any preparation, he aimed to run 100 miles in a single day. No planning. No second thoughts. Just pure action. His body started to collapse. He bled from his feet. He urinated blood. But he didn't stop running. Because now he wasn't running with his body. He was running from his fear, his weakness, and his past. When he finished the 100 miles and reached home, his body was nearly destroyed. But his spirit had never been stronger. Because now he had proven to himself, nothing is impossible if you set your mind to it. David believes discipline is the greatest weapon. And it doesn't come from the outside, It must be built daily. Wake up early when sleep is the sweetest. Work out when your body is tired. Read books when your mind wants to wander. This kind of discipline is built like a soldier, through daily training. He said, motivation will betray you because it's based on emotions. But discipline will take you where motivation fails. So if anything can truly change you, it's consistency. David's other powerful principle is the cookie jar. Every time in life you overcome a challenge or achieve a victory, put it in an imaginary jar. Whenever you feel weak or afraid, pull out a cookie and remind yourself what you've overcome. These memories will rebuild your confidence and remind your mind, you've already won greater battles than this. David's strongest tool was pain, because pain made him powerful. When others run from pain, he ran toward it. When people seek comfort, he chooses discomfort. He believes, the more pain you face, the more freedom you earn. Besides being a Navy SEAL, he also passed the Army Ranger and Air Force Tactical Air Controller training. He threw himself into situations with no way back and still returned stronger every time. Another powerful aspect of David's life is self-talk. When we tell ourselves negative things like, I can't do this, I'll fail, our mind believes it. But when we say, I can do this, I will succeed, our mind starts finding ways to make it happen. David repeated these words to himself daily. Pain is not permanent. Fear is not permanent. Failure is not permanent. And until there's breath, the fight is not over. He once said, no successful person made it because they were special. They made it because they allowed themselves to break and rebuilt themselves every day. One of David's quotes shakes us to the core. Pain unlocks a secret doorway in the mind, one that leads to both peak performance and beautiful silence. Even when his body broke, when he couldn't breathe, he'd say, I'm not done yet. That's the mindset that turns ordinary people into legends. The second part of this book teaches us, nothing can stop you if you improve every day. If you stay honest with yourself, and if you treat every failure as an opportunity. Can't Hurt Me isn't just a book, it's a mirror. And if you look at yourself honestly in that mirror, you won't see fear. You won't see excuses. You'll only see a determination to rebuild yourself. David Goggins' journey doesn't end here. In fact, the real war begins now. Until now, what you've heard was just the beginning. The real story begins when a person learns to fully control their mind. David believes we are all prisoners of our own mind. Most people only use 40% of their potential because the mind never lets them believe they can do more. But David broke that limit and reached his 100%. He called it the 40% rule. That means, when you think you can't go any further, you're only at 40%. Your real strength still lies ahead, but it only comes out when you throw yourself into pain. When you reject every excuse your brain gives. When David ran, his body was broken. His feet were blistered, bleeding, and swollen. But he told himself, pain is just weakness leaving the body. Every day for him was a new war. Imagine fighting a battle every single day, sometimes against your body, sometimes against your fatigue, and often against the memories of your past. But no matter what, David Goggins never gave up. He believed that only when you break out of your comfort zone every day do you truly discover who you are. David emphasized the importance of self-discovery. If you don't truly know yourself, how will you ever understand your limits, your passion, or your truth? For him, the best way to understand himself was to push himself into extreme situations. When he took on the 24-hour pull-up challenge, he failed at first, but he didn't quit. He went back and tried again. On his third attempt, he completed 4,030 pull-ups and set a world record, even when his palms were torn and bleeding. He says, the mind is the most powerful weapon we have, but most of us never learn how to use it fully. David's greatest strength was his accountability and brutal honesty. He never lied to himself. If he slacked off, he'd stare at himself in the mirror and hold himself accountable. He says, no matter how bitter the truth is, listen to it, because that's what transforms you. He started keeping a journal to track his actions, mistakes, and wins, a raw dialogue with himself, where no excuses were allowed. If you want to build a strong mindset, he says, ask yourself every day, what did I do today? How far did I push myself? Am I becoming worthy of my goals, or am I just pretending? David believed that comfort is the biggest danger. When life starts to feel easy, it means you've stopped growing. Change always comes from discomfort. That's why every morning, he gave himself the hardest tasks to ensure his mind remained under control and stayed tough. According to him, there's a savage version of all of us hidden inside, one that we never awaken because we never call it out. But if you manage to wake that savage, you'll surprise yourself with what you're capable of. The world will always try to convince you that you can't do something. But you need to look in the mirror and say, I can do anything, and I won't stop until I prove it. That's why David constantly placed himself in extreme situations, to keep his savage mindset alive and to become better, stronger. Every day, David's story teaches us that no matter how hard your life is, if you're determined to change, honest with yourself, and obsessed with growth, nothing can stop you. He believed that discipline is the ultimate weapon, more powerful than motivation. While motivation comes and goes, discipline is what shows up even when no one is clapping for you, even when no one's watching. David woke up every day at 4 a.m., no matter how tired he was or how much his body ached, because he believed that routine creates transformation. And when you show up every single day, without excuses, you become unstoppable. Discipline is the soldier within you that keeps you standing when everyone else gives up. He also stressed the power of visualization. If you can picture it happening, you can achieve it. Before going for Navy SEAL training the third time, after failing twice, he visualized every obstacle, every pain, every taunt, and prepared for it mentally. So when the real challenges came, he was already ready. He believed in facing pain, not avoiding it. If you ignore pain, it breaks you. But if you stare it down and feel it, it strengthens you. Everything that happened in his childhood could have made him a victim. But David chose to become a victor. He also shared a powerful concept called the cookie jar technique. Whenever he felt weak, he would remember his past victories, the moments he overcame difficulty. These memories were his cookies. And whenever he was about to quit, he'd pull one out, reminding himself, if I did it back then, I can do it again now. Every person has their own cookie jar, even small wins count. When life gets hard, open it and remind yourself who you are and what you've already survived. David's philosophy is built on self-mastery. Know yourself, understand yourself, and learn to rule yourself. Until you become the master of your own mind, the world will control you. Your fears, your addictions, your excuses, they'll run your life. But the moment you take charge, nothing can stop you. The next part of David's journey is even more powerful, where he turns his darkest moments into sources of light. Are you ready to awaken the inner fire that lies dormant inside every one of us? David Goggins proved that if you have self-belief and self-reliance, no challenge is too big. Everything he achieved didn't come from luck or talent, but from pain, discipline, and relentless effort. During Navy SEAL training, the pain he endured would seem impossible for most people. But David reminded himself, pain is just a temporary state. If you make it your friend, it gives you strength. One of his most famous principles is the 40% rule. He believed that when your mind says, I can't go any further, you've only reached 40% of your true capacity. The real strength is still inside, waiting. Your mind tries to convince you to stop. But your body still has more to give. And the more you train your body and mind with new challenges, the stronger you become physically and mentally. David's journey isn't just about physical endurance, it's about unshakable mental resilience. He always said, your biggest enemy is your own fear. If you conquer it, nothing can stop you. That's the message of David Goggins' story, that true strength comes from within. And once you realize that, no obstacle in the world can break you. He also taught us, if we stop seeing fear as the enemy and start using it to our advantage, we can change the course of our lives. Fear must be felt, but not feared. Embrace it. Convert it into strength. Another powerful tool David taught was the accountability mirror. He said if you aren't honest with yourself, you'll never reach your full potential. Look in the mirror every day and ask yourself, did I work hard today? If not, fix it. This is how he transformed his weaknesses into strengths. David also wrote that confidence doesn't come only from success, it comes from failure too. Every time we fall and get back up, we become stronger. This act of rising, again, reminds us that we are far more capable than we think, because we never give up. David Goggins' success wasn't just about his physical strength. It came from his mindset and willpower. He said that even when your body gives up, your mind can keep pushing you forward. And once you conquer your thoughts, your body follows. Today, David Goggins is not just a man, he is a living symbol of inspiration. He taught us that if we train our minds the right way, no challenge, physical or mental, can defeat us. If you keep growing your inner strength, you can overcome any challenge. David Goggins' journey proves that no hardship can defeat you, as long as your belief and willpower remain strong. His life shows us that if you recognize the power within you and use it consistently, you can conquer every obstacle in your path. David believed that a person's real enemy isn't the outside world, it's their desire for comfort. The moment you start seeking safety and ease, you start losing your strength. According to him, the comfort zone is a trap that makes us weak. If you truly want to become strong, you must face your fears every day. Do the very things that scare you, the things you avoid because they're hard. He often threw himself into difficult situations on purpose, just to test himself and break his limits. He said, your true growth begins the moment you feel exhausted, when your body wants to give up, when your mind says stop, and yet you still keep going. One of David's unique philosophies was that knowing yourself is your greatest weapon. He said, as long as you don't know who you truly are, you'll keep walking the path laid out by others. But once you discover yourself, you create your own path. He believed in self-reflection, a mirror that shows you your reality. Every night, he would sit down and write what he did right, what went wrong, and what could have been better. He called it the after-action report. This daily habit helped him understand himself and become a better version of himself every day. David's life is proof that a person can not only change but completely reinvent themselves if they're willing to fight with themselves, throw themselves into the fire, and give up comfort. He said a person can't unlock their true strength until they take a stand against their own weaknesses and challenge themselves every day. His story teaches us that our biggest battle isn't with the outside world, it's with ourselves. And if we can win that inner battle, nothing outside can ever defeat us. David Goggins is a warrior who proved that discipline, self-reflection, and self-reliance can help a person reach even those heights that once seemed impossible. Are you ready to awaken the warrior within you? Are you ready to improve yourself every single day? Because true change doesn't start outside, it starts within. Until you gain control over your inner voice, your mind, you will never know your real power. That voice inside always tries to stop you. It tells you, that's enough, stop, you can't go any further. But the moment you recognize that voice and start challenging it, it becomes your greatest strength. That same voice is the one that keeps you from waking up early. That says, don't run today, take it easy. But if you defeat that voice, Every single time, you'll create a new version of yourself. Someone unstoppable. Someone who can do anything. Every human has a limit. But the most important thing is not just to find that limit, it's to break it. Because unless you break your boundaries, you'll never truly know yourself. Even when your body gives up, your mind can still say, "No, there's more left. Keep going." One more thing David emphasized deeply is consistency. Many people start strong, but stop after a while. Hard work only matters when it is done consistently. When you wake up every day with the same fire and do the same hard things, only then does your true identity form. You'll only reach your goals when you fight for them daily, with the same hunger you had on day one. This consistent action is what separates the average from the extraordinary. Every bruise, every failure, every moment of exhaustion is here to teach you something. If you look at them as lessons, not pain, then you'll never lose. Defeat only comes when you stop. When you accept, "I can't anymore." But the real victory begins when you fall and get up again. The next chapter of this journey is even more powerful, where you'll discover how a person can transform their pain into their greatest strength. How suffering can take you to places you never imagined. When a person breaks their excuses, they finally meet the strength that was hidden within them all along. Many people say, "I don't have time," or "I don't have the resources," or "my situation is difficult." But the truth is, these are all just excuses that keep us from our goals. The day you recognize these excuses and begin to destroy them, that day, your life will begin to change. Because true transformation begins the moment you look at yourself honestly, without masks, without lies. Every morning when you wake up, you face two paths. The path of comfort, which is easy, and the path of struggle, which is hard. But only the struggle takes you forward. If you embrace discomfort every day, eventually, it won't feel so hard anymore. Pain, fear, fatigue, these aren't your enemies. They're your greatest teachers. They teach you who you are and who you can become. When you run from them, you run from yourself. But when you face them, you awaken your inner strength. Everyone's life has moments where everything feels broken, where no way forward is visible. But those are the moments that shape you. If you stand firm during those times, you'll emerge stronger than ever. Remember, no one is born special. The special ones are those who fight themselves daily, who learn every day, and who strive to become better every day. If you decide right now to change yourself, then nothing can stop you. You can become your own inspiration. You can become the person that others point to and say, "If he could do it, so can I." So get ready for the next chapter in your journey, where you will see a version of yourself stronger than ever before. Because true strength isn't outside. It's hidden within. All you need to do is wake it up. If you like this book summary, make sure to share it and comment below what you learned and which lesson hit you the hardest. Do you also want to bring that transformation in your life? The one that begins with yourself? If yes, then now is the time to make a promise to yourself. See you in the next story. Until then, always remember, your greatest strength is you. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to Top Book Summary for more such powerful and inspiring videos. Are you ready to win the toughest battle of your life?